All right, we are live. Hello, everyone. I'm Kathy Hampton of Wellside Retreats, and Wellside Retreats is a transformational destination retreat service where I coach women to um, really go away, move away from what no longer serves them and move toward what serves them well. And today I'm talking about wellness from a different perspective that I've never talked to anyone before or even haven't broached the subject fully. And that is about money and finances. And I decided and was inspired actually by Adalia Aborisade, Picky Girl Travels, excuse me, and because she is a coach of mine, a money coach, a financial educator, and I've taken her class and have had one-on-one time with her, where she talked and taught about money and how to get your money straight. And um, what struck me was the beginning of her course where we talked about people's money stories. I won't go any further. I want Adelia to introduce herself and we'll take it from there.
Hello, everybody. I think Kathy has kind of told y'all everything. I'm Adalia Aborisade. I am a financial educator, and really, I am about helping Black women live the life that they want. And I realize that money is a key element in living that life. And so there are so many things most of us don't understand about finances and about how to leverage our money so that we don't have to work so hard. And so that's really the focus of the work that I do.
Right. Well, thank you, Adelia. One of the things that kind of struck me after I was thinking about what we would talk about is the fact that I talk a lot about feelings. I talk about a mindset or um, emotional issues that guide women or have an influence over women in particular who and more than likely have an impact on other things that they don't really talk about, other than the fact that they're tired, they're burnt out, they are stuck in some way. Um, they want to live a better life, but they don't talk about the things, the factual things that may really like money to move forward. And so one of the things that money is nowadays is not tangible. You can't really see it. We were having a conversation about things that people don't talk about, and we came up with the decision that some people don't talk, not decision, but they don't talk about or share information about money, and well, the other one was sex. We don't really talk about those things, and those can be really troubling things that people don't talk about. So what do you say about the not talking about or not expressing?
Well, I think we all understand that or I'm not going to say all, but many of us understand that that's not a healthy way to be. However, we were probably raised in a house where very little was said about money. And, it kind of leaves us in this place of, well, how the hell are you supposed to figure all of this out if they didn't talk about when I was growing up? And like, depending on who the people are in your circle as you become an adult, they may not be people who are comfortable talking about it either.
Mhm.
So I think, like I said, I think many of us understand that that's not good, but how to fix that,
Mhm.
that's kind of where the disconnect lies.
Yeah, because you have to actually, if you do decide, maybe if I talk about this, who do I talk to it about? What are they going to think about me, or what are I had a friend who, well, she was a new friend, and she sold her house, built or remodeled a new house, put in a swimming pool, did all these things. And I thought, oh, okay, she's doing okay. She's doing all right. And so probably after she'd been in the house for about a year or so, I said, do you have a financial advisor, or who do you know, can you give me some advice? And my assumption was that she had the answers, but she said, "Girl, don't ask me. I know nothing. I can't help you. I cannot help
But
you. I'm not that way."
that is how it is. It's designed that way. And I don't know that anybody did that intentionally, but that is how it functions. Like you said, people are hesitant to ask for help or try to broach that discussion with somebody because it's, well, what will they think about me? So much of why we don't talk about money in American culture, if you think about it, in American culture, we are discouraged from talking about how much we make. We are discouraged. Talking about money is considered to be gauche. Okay,
Right.
it's not a classy thing to do, and there is this shame because you need to present a certain way to everybody, and like this lady, you knew she was presenting like she had her stuff together, and I think a lot in American culture, that's what matters most. Not really, do you have your stuff together when it comes to your money? Are you using it in the best way possible? It's no. What's the image you can put out there? A lot of what we do is give that illusion that we're better off than we are. You think about the whole keeping up with the Joneses mindset.
Yeah.
And I see that very much tied to the unhealthy relationship folks in the US have with credit card debt
Yes.
and
Exactly.
how we use credit cards. I see all of that connected together.
Right. And so, what now? You in your course, you allowed people to volunteer to talk about their stories, and you have tools and resources to help people understand where they might fall in line with with their money story. But let's see, what is a question I had for you? Um, do you think that, or do you think that that openly discussing, or have you found in your courses that once people start talking about themselves, they then move through, you know, embracing maybe some changes?
I think it helps. And I think also this comes from teaching 14-year-olds for a very, very long time, like creating a safe enough space where people feel comfortable sharing, something so personal. It's part of the reason why I strive to be as transparent as I am, because I see what the lack of transparency does. I see what us not talking about. Well, like, how did you do that thing? And nobody wants to talk about it. So I very much try to create a place where people feel comfortable enough. But I'm at the same time, I know how damaging it could be if I was like, well, you gotta, like, tell us all your business. Right. People are going to pull back and they're not going to learn what they need to learn. But I do think you are correct in that after somebody is brave enough to step up and share their story, somebody is hearing that and realizing, oh, then what I'm doing is not that far from the norm. There are other people who are just like me who don't know what they're doing, have no clue.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do see that.
Yeah. And one of the things that I don't tell all my business, but I'm almost on the edge of telling all my business. But things that I realized was that as much as I thought I knew about how much I spend, I did not know. And I had this exercise when I was going through mediation for a divorce, where you had to come up with your budget and everything. And I just raked everything up, and I realized how much then I was spending. So when I got to your course, I did the same exercise again, and my spending had increased just a little bit from where I was. But what that actually made me feel comfortable putting it all out so I could see it, as opposed to keeping in my head, all of those things that I spend for, or things I need to take care of. I think that's the thing. Things that are in the back of your head that you need to
Yes,
take care of.
I would say, because this is something I'm struggling with right now. It's sort of like when my jeans don't fit and I tell myself, okay, I'm going to act right. I'm not going, but I refuse to download the food tracking app. And I'm just
Mm.
mentally keeping track of how many when I do finally break down and download the food tracking app, I always discover I was not keeping track of it in my head with any kind of accuracy at all. And it's the same way. It's
Yeah.
the same way. It's not until you are physically having to do that, whether you're doing it on pen and paper, you're doing it in an app, that you then have those numbers looking at you and you're like, oh, look how many times I stopped for donuts. You know, that's my struggle.
Yeah. So yeah, you hit on the same issue that I'm experiencing now, and that is my goal of getting back to yoga, because I'm so stiff that I haven't done much of it, and I need to stretch. So I understand that example quite a bit. Um, so Adelia, I talked to women, and I'm usually talking to women who are 45, but I say 50 older, and women who are similar to me in age, and at their kind of at this point in life where we're at the age of or going to be in the age of traditional retirement, but some of us would love, including me, to truly retire fully. Um, what and I know people are afraid. I believe they are afraid. What do you have to say to women who, I mean, it's a big topic, but how to prepare slowly but surely for retirement if they aren't doing that now? Is it too late? Would you consider it to be too late?
I I don't ever like to think that it's too late for anything, because
Mhm.
if I'm in my 50s or my 60s and there is nothing saved or very little saved, what's the alternative to starting right now? Are you just going,
Mhm.
I guess I feel like, am I just going to surrender to the notion that I will have to work indefinitely? I don't like
Mhm.
that idea at all. So
Mhm.
my first thought is start.
Right.
I'm always misquoting the Chinese proverb. You know, the best day to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best day is today. So
Mhm. Mhm.
I'm very much an advocate for that.
Mm.
Um, Now,
Yeah.
I know, especially if, not that I watch much American news at this point in my life, but I imagine that if I were watching it and they are reporting on the nonsense that's happening in the stock market right now, that would be that would make me very apprehensive.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm. Right. Right. Right.
but like what's the alternative
And,
to
right. And the reason why I'm pausing is because you you really want or advocate for people to not just save, but to invest. And that's why
Absolutely.
that is
Absolutely.
the hesitation for you.
That I
Yeah.
want to say that probably my realization that saving would not be enough, because I'm not even a math person, but I kept trying to do the math. They would, we're always told you need to save for retirement, you need to save for the future. And then I did a little bit of reading because I'm trying to figure out, how do I do that? And it's saying that, oh, you'll need like 40% of your current income. Well, like I had kids at home, like I'm like, if I can't save that amount of my income now, how am I going to make up? And the piece that was missing, and we talked about how nobody talks about anything. The thing that nobody had been saying to me was, you need to invest. Now, I will say the stock market may not be for all people, because you got to know who you are. You got to know what your personality is. However, you need to find some kind of investment that does suit you, that is going to grow your money. Simply saving it is not enough.
Right. Right. Yeah. And even if you are, say, okay, I'm headed to, you know, to 60, I realize that what little I can contribute consistently will make a difference, even during this, rough pivotal time. I mean, with the stock market, because yeah, it's just sitting there with the inflation is like
And we're all getting a
first
firsthand
thing.
experience with inflation right now. So if it was
Right,
kind of an abstract concept before, you can go
right,
to the grocery store and you can see exactly what inflation is doing.
exactly.
And that savings account is not paying literally any money at all.
Anything, yeah.
And so simply saving is actually
Mhm.
losing some money for you.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so it's, and to actually have this discussion, if I had not started changing my way of thinking, I wouldn't want to listen. I would be one of those people to bury my head in the sand. But I decided that what I wanted to do was to talk about it, to listen, to understand more, because I mean, all the quote unquote great education that I had, the places that I worked that paid my salary, and not to know what a financial wellness would be when I wanted so financial security and sustainability. I decided to put myself in the environment to learn, so that I wouldn't be putting my head in the sand. And you know I think having some education and knowledge, whether it be sex or money, is beneficial at this point in life. Yeah,
It is. It
yeah,
is.
yeah.
And it is, and that's like, I am not a financial advisor. I
Right.
am not licensed for that. And I have no interest in that, because
Mhm.
the woman that you're talking about, those are the people. Like, I want to help educate women so that they then know what are the questions I should be asking. They feel confident enough to then say, okay, I don't have to keep putting my head in the sand on this. I can do some more investigation. I can talk to these people. Like, I have some ground to stand on, where that I understand more what's going on. Because I
Mhm.
mean, I'm trying to think of a metaphor, but like, just if we stay with the sex metaphor, just like it's important to understand your own body
Body.
and
Yeah.
how it works and all of that, the same can be said. The same is true about your finances,
Yeah.
particularly because women tend to outlive men.
Yeah.
Because of the pay gap, we tend to earn less than men over the period of our working time. So it's even more important for us to
Yeah.
understand our money and what it can do and how to do it.
Yes.
Because, you know, I don't want to say we got, but
We are, but it is true.
yeah,
I believe that is true. In fact, I said that somewhere. That we only have ourselves. You only have yourself when walking around. I actually thought about that maybe a couple of weeks ago because I was like, I've been kind of talking a little bit about companionship lately, and I'm thinking, yeah, I'm not going to have that other being to, buy dinner every once in a while. It's just me right now. And it may be until forever.
it
Who
may be.
knows?
You know, this kind of goes back to what we were talking about before, but I would wonder how many of us had a grandmother or an older aunt who would slip a little money in your and say, "Hey, you need to have your own money," or when you were
That's
getting
right.
married, told you maybe
Yep.
you need to open like your own bank. You know, so like they didn't know how to have that conversation,
Right.
but even they understood the importance of a woman being able to be financially independent.
Yes. Yes, definitely. And yeah, my mother would say, "Do you have your mad money?" At first, I thought she said man money, but it was mad money. In case you get mad, he gets mad. You had your money in case somebody got mad, and you could go your own way. And yeah, she talked about it, but not in depth.
Yeah,
Um, right, and yeah, there were a lot of things that family stories where the grandmothers either dug holes in the backyard and put cans and jars somewhere. You
mine did
heard,
it in the walls of her house.
oh my, oh my gosh, wow,
I mean,
that's deep,
I always chalk that up to she grew up during the Depression.
right?
So maybe she didn't trust banks. I don't know. But yeah, they were finding
They
money
were
in the walls.
right in the walls. Yeah, yeah, and but yeah, whole banking thing was difficult for a lot of Black people. The insurance man, the so-called insurance man, would come and collect, and he would change. It may not be the same man. So how did you know he was really the insurance man? There are all kinds of stories that I've heard that nobody really talks to because they're ashamed that, oh, I may have given some money away to someone I didn't know, including, someone at the bank who could have pocketed my money. Who knows?
I think I think we underestimate how big of a player shame is,
Yeah.
because I'm in several like women's finance Facebook groups, and
Mhm.
women will make a post where they want to be anonymous because they're embarrassed of, I don't know this thing, or I did this thing, and
Oh,
and I think that the shame it influences our behavior far more than we actually realize.
wow. Isn't that is something?
Yeah. And
Wow.
because people, like you said, made a mistake, like I may have been, I've given this money to this person. And it's like, instead of exploring that further to see how do I avoid this the next time, it's like, I'm just going to keep that to myself. I'm not going to say anything, that sort of thing. I
Huh.
mean, just
Wow.
was
And
it last month before, I got scammed out. I was trying to help somebody, and I knew It could have been a scam. I was hoping it wasn't. Turned out it was.
Yeah, I've been scammed. I've been scammed. Also, I constantly talk to my mother, a senior. You know, seniors are scammed all the time, and you know, it's very common, of not having a realization. But I know that cousin so and so is still talking about aunt so and so because she was scammed, and it's shameful for back in the day. So I that's really something I really want. It is my hope that people become more aware, more confident is one of the words that really struck with, you know, I took from your course title, how to become confident, and that was really good. That was prior to me going on sabbatical, because I didn't think that I would be able to do it myself, or even start the whole process of investing. I had, you know, 401ks and, you know, the traditional work, savings plans, but wasn't really investing and feel real good about that opportunity to do that. You know, it does scare me that the stock market isn't where it is, but you know, things happen, and I'm trying to face things as they come, not as, you know, me forecasting my emotions. So that's how I overcome that fear, really, in moving around. So, Delia, I want people to take your course. And I'm not getting any money for telling people to take the course, but I think they should. And is this where they can sign up? Is that
Yes,
correct?
yes, yes. That is where all of my courses are housed. You took the Financial Confidence Bootcamp, which sort of covers everything, or as close to everything
Right.
as you can in such a short period of time,
Right.
as well as the Financial Confidence Academy, which is sort of, if you kind of want to do an ongoing instead of like, I take this
Oh.
course, I'm over and I'm done. The Financial Confidence Academy, because one of the things I kept hearing was, okay, well, so what's the second part to this? When are we going to do the next thing? And so this is kind of an ongoing support, different financial topics every month. So yeah, you can find
Okay.
all of that there.
Okay. Good. Good. I didn't realize that. I don't know why I thought it was the boot camp. And then
Well,
something else.
I
Yeah.
also don't do a good job of talking about it. So there's
Well,
that.
that's okay. Okay, I'm gonna raise an issue. This is a thing with entrepreneurs, Black women in particular, I would think, is talking about their stuff that they have to sell, including me. I'm one of those persons, but also putting a price tag on it that is, you know, is gonna be worthwhile in selling it.
Yeah.
So yeah, what's that? Why do we do that, Delia?
Girl, I know for me, I am, and I just did sort of a podcast episode on this. I am not, I always refer to myself as a bad capitalist. I am
Oh,
not driven by, you know, like how many dollars can I make and this sort of thing. And so, like, to be a good entrepreneur, you probably have to be a good capitalist. So
right.
that I know is my
Oh,
struggle.
okay.
You also add into that I'm an introvert. So
I
but
know.
I know this is something I've got to work on. So I got to be better about that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you know, my whole thing was I don't want people to think I'm greedy.
And
That you
see, well,
know
wait,
that's
but that right there, see, like you're supposed to have money,
right.
but wanting lots of money is being greedy, and that's negative.
Right.
Like our whole relationship with money is kind of screwed up, and I
Mhm.
don't blame that on our parents. I blame that on the larger system. But
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
but I bet you wouldn't feel that way if you were a man. Because
Right.
for a woman
That's
to
right.
want to make money,
That's
she's
right.
greedy. A
She's great.
man who does, he's a go-getter,
He's a
you
go-getter.
know?
Uh-huh. Yeah, totally different. Totally different. I keep looking over this way because I have the other screen, and some people have dropped in and saying hi. Let's see. Rise Up in Bloom says hi, Adelia and Kathy. God bless the child that has her own. I can't put these in there because they're not. Let's see. I agree. Very much the shame can paralyze you. Yes, it can. Money scams. Okay. Yeah. So we have Junquette, Miss Kelly Hay, Francis B, Fran's Journey to Free. Hello, everyone. And Greta King. Greta King and Yvonne McBride. Meanwhile, we're the ones who make less. Yeah. So
Yeah,
we have some people who are in, and thank you guys for coming. I appreciate you for coming in and listening to the talk about money and emotions. And maybe we'll do it again sometime because there's a lot to this. It really is.
absolutely.
Um, yeah, and I think the more I had a series of when I was doing live on Facebook. This was a few years ago. I started this series of what I call tough topics, and the tough topics that a lot of women, in particularly at a certain age or generation, and I'm going to say the baby boomers, hold on to a lot of stuff and don't talk about it. Sometimes not even to their friends, that with who they would be considered a close friend because of judgment and fear and all kinds of stuff. And so this is one of the tough topics that I want to talk about for a long time, but didn't because I didn't feel comfortable or confident to talk about stuff that I consider to be factual, as opposed to just kind of spiritual or heartfelt. That I didn't want to do it by myself, and I still don't want to. And I consider myself growing in my knowledge, but I still have, I'm a life learner, so I'm gonna get to that curve where I feel like I can talk about it myself. Yeah, I'm learning. So thank you, Adelia. Do you want to
Very
leave us with
welcome.
anything? It's good
Um,
talking to you.
well, and just in the last part of what we were saying, like, I think there's a whole another level or a piece that we've also got to keep in mind is as women, like there's baggage that we bring when it comes to talking about financial wellness or even tending to our own financial wellness, because a lot of folks don't even see that financial wellness is a thing, but
Mm.
it absolutely is, because your relationship with your finances and your economic resources are directly connected to your physical well-being, your mental well-being, your social well-being. So I think all of that makes this a much more complicated topic for us as women, but that much more that we need to have these conversations.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yeah, because yeah, you wake up in the morning, you got to go to work. You physically don't want to go to work, but you got to make the money. You have relationships with money, but you also have relationships with people who depend on you for the money. It's just a lot. It
It
is
is a
really
lot.
it is a lot. Thank you for bringing that up. That is really that's a word. Those are some words right there. But we're gonna I'm gonna have you back now. Now that I'm getting better at this whole live thing with a person. So I'll feel better as more often that I do this. But this has been good. I appreciate you, and thank you guys for checking us out. And consider pickygirltravels dot thinkific.com. Go to her website and sign up for a class if you want to know more and serve yourself well. So I'm gonna if I guess I'll in the description in the YouTube description I'll put more information where you can find Adelia. She's on social media, and she is also in Mexico City and very warm.
Very warm. I've been trying not to pull out my fan.
Okay, we're gonna let you go. So it's so good to talk to you, and we'll meet up again. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye, y'all.